Carmela, now that the holidays are over, I think we may need to slow down our wine consumption just a little bit.
What?
Well, okay, look, we've enjoyed ourselves all through the holidays, but I'm thinking maybe we should try something different.
You mean no wine?
Well, of course not. But I am thinking we may want to try some zero alcohol wines.
All right.
You think that's a good idea?
I think we should.
All right, let's try it.
I'm in.
Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Hooray.
Yeah, okay, a quick orientation for those of you who may be new to the podcast. In each episode, we learn about, taste, and review 3 wines that are reasonably priced. That means under $20 and should be easy for you to find, and our goal is to have some fun, to learn about some new wines, and talk about wines in a way that regular people like us can understand. And we are proud to say that we are officially recommended by the editors of Decanter magazine, who call us fun, irreverent, chatty, and entertaining.
My, oh my.
We'll see how chatty we are today.
Oh, I think so.
I do have to say, too, like, we're back in our garage. We've been relegated to the dungeon again.
That's right. And it's winter.
And it's winter, and so it may be a little echoey, and if you hear some chattering, it's Carmela's teeth chattering.
That's right, because I'm always cold, and it's freezing, and the heat's off. And
that's right. So if you hear random sounds, you'll know why. Anyway, okay, Carmela, this is definitely a first for us.
Wow.
And we'll see if it's a last for us.
That's right.
But for the first time, we are going to taste and review alcohol-free or dealcoholized wine.
Wow, this is something else.
Are you a little nervous about it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's kind of interesting.
Okay, so let's talk about why we're doing this.
Okay.
Why do you think that we're doing this?
Well, okay, so we are coming up on a new year, and many times people have resolutions.
That's right.
And this could be a resolution.
I never have resolutions, but it's true.
Right. Well, a lot of
you
people
ever
do.
have resolutions?
Well, I think I've maybe had some, but I'm probably one of those people 3 weeks in, toss it out the window.
I heard this thing, like only 10% of people keep their resolutions.
I don't think
Anyway, so what would a resolution be related to this subject?
Well, some people want to do away or maybe cut back on their alcohol consumption.
That's right. There is such a thing as Dry January, also known as Drynuary.
No.
Yes, there is.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Drynuary.
Drynuary.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
So I thought it would be fun if we at least took a shot at supporting some of
A
you.
shot? That doesn't sound
not
like it's
a shot.
alcohol-free.
Do
they have alcohol-free shots too?
They do.
Oh my.
They do.
Okay.
They do. Anyway, but we thought we would take an opportunity to support some of you out there and listening land who may need a little break from the festivities of the holidays after weeks and weeks and weeks of imbibing. And, I'm just speaking for myself that while I didn't go hog wild, that it's never a bad idea to take a little break from drinking.
Sure. And you can still have festivities with alcohol-free evenings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And then rather than taking our word for it, we thought we would ask our new best friend, ChatGPT.
No way.
Are you ready? And here is what our friend ChatGPT said about Dry January. Ready? Here we go.
I want to hear.
Dry January, also known as Drynuary, is an annual event in which people pledge to abstain from drinking alcohol for the entire month of January.
Wow.
That's a long
mind
time.
Blown.
Now, the goal of Dry January is to give people a chance to take a break from alcohol and reset their relationship with it.
Oh.
Do you feel like we have a relationship with it?
I think we do have a relationship with wine.
Okay. A good one or a bad one?
I think a solid one.
Okay, good. And then some people participate in Dry January as a way to improve their health, reduce their alcohol intake, or break a pattern of heavy drinking. So now that's real. Like, that's a real thing.
And it's important. And you know what? I also think about people who, like you said, health reasons, like those, like women who are maybe having babies and they're pregnant.
For sure. Support them.
Right.
They want to take a break, and maybe you want to support them while they're taking that break,
they may
too.
not know exactly where to go, like what kind of direction to go in when they're like, I would like to have something that maybe tastes like alcohol or wine.
Yeah, or looks like it or whatever.
Right. So this is, I think it'll be helpful.
So, So I think that was a pretty good, I didn't read the whole thing that ChatGPT, our new best friend, told us about, but I think that was a pretty good explanation, probably about as good as I would have written. And then we have some links to some articles in our show notes so you can that you can find in this episode on our website. But if you want to know more about ChatGPT, we'll give you some information about that too.
God.
Now, I do have to say that just to give you a warning, that ChatGPT is a natural language artificial intelligence chatbot that will take over the world at some point and lead us into some dystopian future
And at
like
that point,
the Terminator or the Matrix.
And at that point, you may not want to ever consider giving up alcohol.
That's right. You may just need to drink a lot. Okay. So another reason for doing this episode on Dry January is, we're a wine podcast, right? I can almost say that.
Wow.
Wine podcast.
We're a podcast.
Yeah. So we thought we would put our taste buds to the test, right? And rate and review some alcohol removed wines for this Dry January. And also, I was curious to learn more about how you make a wine de-alcoholized. That's a real thing. That's what they call it, de-alcoholized. And I'm super curious about that, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then what's interesting too is that we have 3 different types of wines from three different regions of the world: a sparkling from Spain, a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, and a Cab Sauv from California. And each of them uses a different technique in terms of how they de-alcoholize wine. So that's kind of fun too.
And they're 0%.
Yeah, they are. Well, technically they are 0.5% or less, but basically that's negligible. It's it's.
So you couldn't even give your best effort to get any
drunk.
type.
I think you'd have to drink gallons and gallons,
and then
it probably wouldn't happen.
You'd end up in the bathroom all night going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, so are you ready to learn some more?
Yeah.
I think we should do it.
Absolutely.
But first, Carmela,
we've got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So if you are enjoying our podcast so far, we think it would be wonderful if you would subscribe to our podcast. And we would also be very appreciative if you wouldn't mind leaving us a nice rating and a review on our website or on your podcast service so that others will say, heck, I should listen to these folk too.
Make it your resolution, people.
That's a good one, Carmela. I missed that. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? Oh, gosh.
No, you got it. Yeah. Put this next to, if you're going...
Put it next to your bed. Or
if you're going to be, try and be dry during January, put this right next to it. That's like...
And I resolved to listen to the podcast.
Right.
And subscribe and rate it and review it. That's right. And you can also follow us or reach out to us on Instagram at The Wine Pair Podcast, on Counter Social, or contact on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. And as we do every week, we will tell you someone we think you should tell about the Wine Pair Podcast. And I have one to add. So I was going to say anybody who is curious or going to participate in Dry January, but I think also people who want to take a resolution to listen to more podcasts.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
That's I got that. You inspired me on that one.
Right. Because, the other thing is that you might as well, some people think to themselves, well, you know what? I don't need to make a resolution, but everybody should make some kind of resolution, right? So if somebody's thinking that they don't want to do a resolution, say, hey, I've got one for you.
Yeah. If somebody said, I need an idea for a resolution. Right. I don't know what to do.
Right.
Say, listen to the Wine Pair Podcast.
Yeah, I've got one for you.
If nothing else, it'll be a sacrifice.
Right. Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about just what the F de-alcoholized wine is. Do you have any guesses about what a de-alcoholized wine is?
I'm trying to figure that out because I'm thinking of you stomp on grapes, right? To you're trying to get the juice out. You're going to squeeze them. So how do you squeeze alcohol out of? I don't get it. Do you
What they do is they take the bottle and they squeeze it like a squeegee.
I'm just trying to envision this. Do they get a sieve or a sieve? What is it? A sieve or a sieve?
You may be onto something.
Really?
A sieve or a sieve or a colander? No, I don't. You may be onto something.
Really? Because I thought that was kind of strange. It was just what I was envisioning.
Well, we'll get to it in just a second. But the simplest explanation of what de-alcoholized wine is that it's a wine made in the same way any other wine would be made, alcohol, the whole thing, and then they remove the alcohol from it. And so that it can't be any more than 0.5% alcohol, which one of the winemaker sites of the wines that we're going to try today says is basically the same amount of alcohol that can naturally occur in fruit juices anyway.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't know that's why we like orange juice so much or something.
I don't know.
Okay, so now here are a few tidbits about making wine alcohol-free that I think are worth talking about. A few facts. You ready for some facts?
I'm ready.
Just give us the
Fun
facts. Okay. So for one, alcohol is an important component of wine, right? And not just because it's a byproduct of the process of making wine. It actually impacts the experience of wine beyond just giving us a buzz.
Okay.
What are some of those things that you think alcohol may help with in a wine?
Well, definitely changes the flavor.
You're right.
Right.
Actually,
I mean,
you're quite
absolutely.
right.
You can pretty much tell when there's alcohol in something.
You can.
I don't know.
I'm going to give you something. I'm going to talk about a few things here that actually will mean something to you as a baker. Because Carmela, as you all know, as a baker, she has baby cakes. That's her thing. You can learn more if you go to our Instagram. But anyway, so I did a little research on the interwebs, and there's a really great article from the Hemispheres Wine Club in Canada that I have a link to in our show notes as well. And they explain the fermentation process creates a thing called esters. Okay, and do you know what esters are?
I don't know.
You actually do. I don't really know. You will know them better than I. So esters are basically alcohol and acid, and they are very influential in the aromas of wine. And in fact, they are commonly used in flavorings and perfumes. So when you get a vanilla extract, it's actually esters. You know how it says alcohol on it? Mm-hmm. So the alcohol helps to create to enhance the flavoring and bring the flavoring out.
Interesting. That makes perfect sense. But then you cook normally in baking or in cooking, the alcohol's cooked out.
It'll be cooked out. And, when you're talking about like an extract, it's not like you're using a ton. You're using what? Like a teaspoon or not a tablespoon even.
No, you can for some things, but depending on the amount that you're making. But that's interesting because you do use alcohol to intensify flavors.
For sure.
And to just add flavor.
That's right.
Typically the alcohol is cooked out. The part that's going to get you, you know.
When you're baking, that's true.
No, right. That part is baked out. So interesting, but the flavor stays.
Yeah. And in fact, alcohol is a solvent, which means it has the ability to dissolve or disperse other compounds. These are things that I looked up, so I don't know this, right? And so flavor attributes like bitterness or other things are impacted by the amount of alcohol in the wine, and the alcohol will carry that. So as a solvent, this is something I picked up off of the interweb. As a solvent, alcohol is capable of dissolving or extracting a variety of substances, including flavors and aromas from the grapes, as well as from oak barrels in which wine is often aged. So it's not just, again, it's like, yes, of course, alcohol is part of the experience of drinking wine because some people like the way it makes them feel, but it also does impact the flavor, the smells, etc. of the wine. Now, alcohol is also antibacterial, which is important.
Oh, true.
Why?
Well, because it actually can kill things.
Well, it can kill things, and it does, and this is why wine was often a drink of choice in the ancient world because it was purified through the alcohol. It was safer to drink than water sometimes.
So you can even clean with a bottle of wine.
You could. Well, it'll make
sugars
things
a little sticky.
A little stain too.
True.
And then alcohol also can impact the perception of body in a wine. So a lot of times the body in a wine will be impacted by the amount of alcohol. So sometimes higher alcohol wines will seem to have more body to them.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then alcohol is, of course, what makes also wine harmful to some people, right? It's
the killing part, remember? We just talked about.
Yes, that part, but also, that's the addictive part, et cetera. So now all of this is to say that alcohol is part of what makes wine. And so removing alcohol, especially depending on the type of manner in which that alcohol is removed, that can impact the taste and the experience of the wine. And we're going to find this out because we have never had an alcohol-free wine before.
I don't think so.
I'm really curious about this. And so when alcohol is removed, they have to do it in a very careful way. And there are 3 common ways in which alcohol is removed from wine, and I won't go into all of them, but one of them you kind of hit upon. This one is called reverse osmosis, although the winemaker who uses this method on their website calls it cold filtration. And in this process, what happens is wine is pushed through filters or membranes that filter out the alcohol and the water. And basically what's left behind is like a wine concentrate. And so then the alcohol and the water have been removed, and then they re-add like water and sometimes some juice back into the wine to sort of reconstitute it. So it's like a frozen orange juice. But that is one of the ways that they get rid of the alcohol. So that's one method.
It's like a science experiment.
Exactly. Another method is called distillation, where the wine is heated. And so the alcohol evaporates. Now that one is very controversial because heating can really change the flavors. And so one of the wines that we have, they used what they call...
Because we cook so much with wine.
Yeah, that's right.
And we cook alcohol out of it. I mean, that's part of the process, right?
That's right.
So same kind of deal.
That's right. But when you're cooking it, you're trying to get, in part, just certain flavors. You don't want to cook a wine. It's going to like to drink it, right? It's going to taste very different. And so one of the methods that this winemaker uses that we have is that they distill it. The distillation happens in a vacuum. I don't know that much about it, but what it does is it allows the wine to be less heated. So it'll evaporate, the alcohol will evaporate at a lower temperature, and it's supposed to cause less damage to the wine. And then the last method is called the spinning cone method. And then the spinning cone method, the wine is put into a column of cones. I kind of want to visualize it, but anyway, in a centrifuge, and they spin the wine, and as the wine spins, the alcohol is separated out. And so then, because the other compounds are also removed in this spinning process, after the alcohol is removed, these compounds which can impact the flavor are put back into the wine. And there is a brief period of heating, as I understand it, in this process, which also makes it a little bit controversial. So anyway, hopefully that wasn't overly too overwhelming or too boring, but I think it's actually kind of cool that there are different methods to removing alcohol from wine, and we're going to try wines that try all of the different methods.
Oh, so really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have 3 different wines from 3 different regions with 3 different methods of dealcoholization. And I'm super excited to see, like, does one taste better than the other? It'll be a little bit hard to judge because we've never tried them before, and they are different styles of wine and different varietals. But you know what? We're going to find out, and maybe we'll find that we like one type or style or producer better than another. So how about that?
I love it.
And one other benefit of alcohol-free wines is they tend to be lower in calories.
Oh, interesting.
So there you go.
Huh.
So maybe
and you can drink and drive.
You can drink and drive. That's right. Wow. I don't think that really is going to come out wrong. So people, we're just talking about alcohol-free wines. We are not.
This is alcohol-free wines.
That's right. Please, otherwise.
It won't impair your judgment.
Yeah, that's right. Now
that's the benefit.
Now let's get back to the wines we chose for today's episodes and talk about something else for today's episode. And we'll talk about one thing that you also brought up. So just note that all the wines, as we would expect, we got for under $20. And in fact, none of them was more than $13.50. So how about that? And one was even under $10.
Wow.
And they should be relatively easy to find, or similar versions of these wines. So we got all of them at Total Wine, but I know we didn't get this brand. Sutter Home has a brand of wine called Free FRE, that are alcohol-free wines. I know I've seen them in grocery stores. We didn't get any of those, but they do have that. And just note to what you said, Carmela, the Total Wine near our house in Seattle actually has a non-alcoholic section with wine, beer, and spirits.
Oh,
so
nice.
You can take alcohol-free shots. I don't know what they're going to taste like, but we'll see. So if that's something,
will? Well,
not tonight. No, maybe someday we will. Anyway, but if that's what you're looking for, alcohol-free opportunities, it's kind of cool that there are a lot of options. So maybe you can make mixed drinks, or you can do other things if you want to try your dry January in a more complete way and do a little bit of experimenting.
Yes, so fun.
Okay, and then as I mentioned before, we're trying 3 different wines. We're trying a sparkling, a white, and a red from different parts of the world, different dealcoholization methods. And I was really tempted when I was putting together the episode to just do sparkling, because there's actually a lot of alcohol-free sparklings, and I'm not talking about cider. I'm talking about alcohol-free sparkling wine.
That tastes like a sparkling.
Well, they're made.
Similar.
Yeah, they're made. They have corks, the whole thing. Like the pop, the bottle, the whole thing. They're sparkling. But maybe someday we'll do one just on the sparkling wine. So I wanted to get a cross section for this first one.
I like it. I remember asking you at one point when you said we were doing this. I was like, oh, this is probably an opportunity to always find these types of wines that will always be under $20. They're probably reasonable all the time, price wise. But then you said that wasn't necessarily the case.
Well, there are some that are more expensive, but they do tend to be a little bit on the less expensive side, I will say. Okay. Yeah, and again, like none of the ones today are over $13.50. So
amazing.
They're all reasonably priced. And I think also, a lot of times we have friends, et cetera, who don't drink. And so, sometimes it might be nice to have an option ready for them as well that's not just, sparkling water or something. Maybe they give them an opportunity to enjoy something in a wine glass, just like everybody else is. So anyway, so the first wine is a sparkling wine by a well-known producer called Freixenet, and they're famous for their cava. It comes in a black bottle. We've had it. We tried it, right? And it's actually pretty inexpensive, and that cava, and it's pretty good. Now, this wine comes in kind of a frosted bottle, and the wine looks a little bit yellow on the inside, and it's called Freixenet Premium Sparkling Alcohol Removed Wine. So a few notes about this wine. First of all, they use the vacuum distillation method. So they heat it up, to distill the alcohol out, but they do it in a vacuum, so it's supposed to be lower heat. So that's one. Okay. They said that they first made their alcohol-free sparkling wine in 2011, so they haven't been doing it very long. And then in 2016, they renewed the way in which they made it. So maybe they've found some ways to improve it. I'm not totally clear on what grapes are used in the wine. They describe it as a cuvee of selected classic grape varieties from traditional wine regions, and then they say Aran dominating. Aran is a type of grape. Now, what's interesting about the use of Aran is it's not a grape that's used in cava. So it's interesting. This is a cava maker making a sparkling alcohol-free wine, but they're not using cava grapes. And they're not actually being very forthright, I think, in terms of what's in there. But anyway, Aran is a grape that is very common in Spain, but it's sometimes described as acidic and characterless.
Oh, yikes. Wow. That makes me really want to try it.
No, doesn't that sound fascinating?
Characterless.
I know. Acidic and characterless. So,
wait a minute. This guy needs a little help with editing.
I know. Like, don't you? I know. Well, they didn't put that on the website. It's not like Freixenet put it on the website, but I'm like, they're doing a little research.
This is a real characterless wine.
Yeah. Well, they didn't say that. That's just that the grape is known to be that way. So we'll see. So I'm not sure what we're going to expect. We do like their cava. So, you know what? We're not going to prejudge. That's right.
We're going to be open-minded people.
That's right. That's right. Now, the second wine we're going to try is called Giesen 0% New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. And we love a Sauvignon Blanc. We do. And we love a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. So this will be an interesting test. Giesen makes their alcohol-free wine using the spinning cone method.
Oh, wow.
Don't you have like...
Spinning cone. I just get like a pine cone.
Pine cone. I was thinking like ice cream cone.
I like
put
that.
it in here. I lost the alcohol. Like it's just
right through the hole, right through the bottom.
Or like the centrifuge, like those rides at the amusement park where it's just like they spin you until the alcohol falls out of your head.
That's much better. Just like a pine cone. I don't know where I got that. A pine cone.
I don't know. A pine cone.
That doesn't work at all.
Cone. Like you're the one who loves ice cream too. So I don't know.
Makes much better sense.
Yeah. Anyway, but it is interesting that again in this method they sort of reconstitute the wine. So they get the alcohol out of it and then they kind of have to reconstitute it. But they do claim that their method is a gentle method and they use vigorous taste testing.
Okay, gentle and then vigorous.
Well,
I mean, I get it, but I'm like, people.
What if it was a vigorous method and they use gentle taste testing?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think
we'll see how gentle our taste testing is going to be today.
Oh, it's going to be rigorous, honey.
Now, listen to this. This is really interesting. The wine is only 80% Sauvignon Blanc, 14% dealcoholized white wine. Okay. So they add some other white wine in there. And then, honestly, this is what they say, and 6% grape juice.
Wow.
The grape juice is kind of strange because it means that they're not just adding back water, they're adding back in juice as they sort of reconstitute the wine. And so
you could practically give it to your children. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not recommending it, but I wonder how sweet this is going to be.
That was exactly my question. Is it going to be really sweet? It's concentrated already. They're adding grape juice in it. They have some random white wines. Like, I don't know what it's going to be. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Okay. The last wine we're going to try comes from a large producer of non-alcoholic wines called Ariel. Oh. Like the Little Mermaid.
That's right. I love it already.
And she's located in California, which is quite appropriate because you can find Ariel, the mermaid, at Disneyland.
For sure.
In California.
We've met her.
Which, for those of you out there in listening land, I don't want to offend anybody. We've been to Disneyland. We've been to Disney World. We prefer Disneyland.
Yeah, we're West Coasters.
We're West Coasters.
Perhaps that's why. But I do think we met Ariel at Disneyland.
Yes.
But Disney World has a big Ariel section.
I don't remember that.
In case anybody wants to know. Yeah, there's a whole grotto.
Oh, the grotto.
The grotto. Do you remember Ariel's grotto?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
But this wine is called Ariel's Grotto. No, Ariel Cabernet Sauvignon Premium Dealcoholized Wine. So they added a premium. I don't know what premium means. I feel like premium is a word that they added in there to make it sound like it's probably better than it is.
Probably premium.
That's right. Now, they don't talk a lot about where their wine grapes come from. It was really hard to get information about them. I did find an older version where they talked about an older version of the wine where they talked about getting grapes from San Luis Obispo County, but I don't know. Now, they do mention online that they're owned by J. Lohr Wines, which is a huge wine producer in California, and that they claim that they have access to all 3,700 acres of the J. Lohr vineyards. And they do mention that they are the primary source of the grapes.
Oh, not the premium, the primary.
But also primary, what does that mean?
I don't know.
There's
a secondary.
Yes, and maybe a tertiary.
I know. Ooh,
what's
wow.
Quartiary?
You should know
I
that,
don't know.
Mr. Grammar Police.
But I all I'm going to say is this was our lowest price wine. We're saving it for last. It's the lowest price wine. I doubt they were using super premium grapes. Now, they do also talk about the method of dealcoholization that they use, which again is a reverse osmosis. This is the one where they push it through some sieve. I don't know, some filter. I don't know how it works. It's got to be a really small filter to get some out. I don't know. I know.
Reverse osmosis.
I know. But they're not using heat. Now, remember we had this thing about the Freixenet and kind of the Aaron grape or whatever that they were using. This is what the Ariel website says. So here's a word of caution for you.
Okay.
On the website, they say Ariel does not taste the same as wines containing alcohol. This is from the winery. So it will not satisfy all palates.
Oh my, sell it. Let's really sell it, people.
Right. Well, Ariel is made in a similar method or manner to regular wines. Alcohol lends body and texture.
Oh,
without alcohol, our result is lighter and less robust.
Oh, God.
If you are transitioning to de-alcoholized wines after being accustomed to drinking traditional wines, it may take a few Ariel experiences before you get used to its lightness.
Oh, my goodness. So this is down the road when you've adjusted.
This is setting the bar low.
This is actually saying, don't buy me out of the gate.
No, what it's saying is buy me. No, it's saying buy me, but you probably won't like me.
And what is the cost in this one?
This was, I was going to get there, but I'm going to jump down to my notes. It was $8.99.
Okay, well, that might be very fitting.
Now, like a traditional Cabernet Sauvignon, this wine is oaked, but I was having some trouble finding a fact sheet on the wine itself, so I had to pull from a variety of sources. I do think that they also use grape juice to reconstitute their wine, but I'm not sure. I don't know, Carmela. You know what? Enough of the jibber jabber.
Okay.
Enough of the facts. Enough of the information. We got to get down to tasting this
we do.
Dry January, de-alcoholized, zero alcohol, whatever wine.
Oh,
you ready?
God, I'm down.
All right, let's do it. Okay, we are back, and we are ready to try our first de-alcoholized wine. This is such an interesting adventure, don't you think?
I'm so excited about it. I think it's great.
I think it's a good thing to do.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Freixenet. It's Freixenet. You people have seen it out there, I'm sure. Freixenet Premium Sparkling Alcohol Removed Wine. They call it alcohol removed wine.
Goodness.
This is from Spain, the Penedès region. The producer is Freixenet and Mioneto. So they actually, the same owner also owns Mioneto Prosecco. Non-vintage, as you would expect with the sparkling. This was the most expensive. This was $13.49 a total wine. Now they say the alcohol is 0.05%. But I think that is a typo. I think it's 0.5%.
Oh, why?
0.05. It just seems 0.5 is what everybody else is. I think it's a typo.
Well,
but maybe not.
That would
maybe
be
not.
Interesting. I mean, it's not that different. Do you think it's that different?
I don't know. 0.5 to 0.05 is
half.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I don't know.
10x.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay.
We got it a total wine, as I said. This is, again, the grapes are a cuvee of selected classic grape varieties from traditional wine regions with Aaron dominating, and it has no professional rating. But Carmela, what are you smelling?
Well, first thing I'm noticing is that our pours are super generous because why not?
Who cares?
There's no alcohol in it, or
there's
there's 0.05 or 0.5.
And I will also tell all our friends out there in listening land that we are not, sometimes we will spit out our wines as we're drinking them because drinking 3 wines in an episode can be a lot, and we're trying not to kill ourselves. And so I'm not worried about it this time. I don't have a spit cup because I don't need it because we can just keep drinking.
Cheers to that.
Ding. Okay, so now that was another one of those crappy.
These are full too.
They are pretty full.
My God, this is a generous pour.
Okay, so what are you smelling?
So I feel like there's definitely an essence of a sparkling cava here, but it's light. It's very light. It's kind of citrusy.
Citrusy. That's
definitely
what I was thinking.
Getting citrus. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, and also maybe some yeasty or toasty kind of elements to it. But I was also getting something kind of different, kind of I don't know how to describe it. Almost like gluey. I don't know how to describe it. It smelled, I said in the break, it smelled a little artificial. I'm not sure if that's like I'm being harsh or whatever. Head. Yeah, exactly.
You could be kind of tipsy. I mean,
it doesn't smell bad though.
No, it's actually very pleasant. Like it is mild. It's not something where you go, but to me, if somebody were to hand this to me, even though it doesn't smell, as strong or as lovely as a cava, it still smells alcoholic.
Yeah, it does. So I agree. And I agree. I think it's got maybe a little bit of like, she just wants to down this thing. She's going to drink the whole bottle and see if she gets a buzz.
Yeah.
No, but
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
And a little citrus and maybe a tiny bit of like pineapple-y or something on it.
Yeah.
But
a little tropical.
Yeah. Let's try it. It tastes like an apple cider.
It does. It does.
But a tart, like there's something citrusy on it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not as sweet. It's not as sweet as having like a Martinelli's apple cider. So it does have that little bit of feeling of something less. I mean, a little more adult. Like I don't know if kids would go for this.
No. I think if you're going to give to little kids, just give them that sparkling cider.
Yeah.
There's something interesting on the taste. I cannot describe it.
It doesn't.
I want to say tomato, but
oh my, tomato.
There's something like.
But it doesn't have that cleansing. Like it's not as, like it doesn't feel like your tongue is drying off.
Really?
Not really. Are you getting that?
Maybe.
I feel like there's a little bit of aftertaste, but.
There's some aftertaste on it. That's what I'm trying to figure out what this aftertaste is. Can you tell? Maybe it's just really sour.
Yeah, it's very sour. It's almost like a Sour Patch Kid.
It is. It's sour. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's got a soury kind of.
Or like sour jelly beans, which are delicious.
Yeah. Or sour peaches.
Ooh, that would be good.
But there's something like I can't quite put my finger on it.
No, but the taste is not going to
almost vegetal.
Yeah, maybe, but the taste is not going to fool you like the smell.
No.
Smell is a little more convincing. Yeah. But you know what? What do you think about? And maybe you're going to ask me this, but what do you think about
food?
Food with this?
I mean, I think you could have food with it. I actually find it dries in the mouth. Like I don't feel like it's lingering.
No, but I feel like there's a little bit of that aftertaste to it. Something.
It wouldn't be something I would have with dinner. I don't think. It almost seems to me it's a aperitif, like a before, maybe an after dinner drink or a before dinner drink. I think you could have it with like, appetizers and those kinds of things.
It's pretty summery.
It's very summery,
refreshing, and more like
and it popped. It popped like a real bottle of sparkling wine. And so, if you were at a party or a wedding and you had people who don't drink alcohol and you wanted them to feel again like not screw cap Martinelli's, but you really wanted to give them the feeling of the pop and the whole thing, it's fun.
Whatever
it's
the
really
chemical reaction that occurs when you like pop open a bottle of sparkling, you're going to get that. Like you're going to get that switch is going to, or that whatever is going to switch right on.
And I think too, like if you're doing a dry January and you don't want to be like mopey about it, this is kind of a fun wine to have.
Right.
If you're going to do something
actually, don't
zero
be
alcohol.
mopey about it.
You're right.
You should be feeling excited about taking a little time off.
That's right. I agree. Okay,
Just
so any food that you would have with it?
Well, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I don't know. It's pretty, it's not sweet like a apple cider or a sparkling apple cider.
It's sour.
It's more sour, but it's still, I'm not sure it would pair super well with the same kinds of foods that you would have. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of not quite sure, but you probably could do many things. I mean, you could probably, I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
I was thinking more of an appetizer kind of wine.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe with fruit.
Pizza, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe too tart.
Maybe too tart.
Yeah.
Too tart.
It's kind of, on its own, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It's refreshing. So let's rate it. So as a reminder, on a rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10, where 7 and above means that we're going to buy it. 4 below means that we're going to pour it down the sink. And in between, like a 5 or 6, we're going to drink it and we're going to finish it. We're probably not going to buy it, and we may look for something else. So what rating would you give this wine?
Okay, so I'm thinking probably there should be some sort of, not separate rating scale, but like a disclaimer, like this can't, I've not had a lot of wines like this. So my feeling is that I would probably give this a 7 for a non-alcoholic wine, because I would consider buying this for somebody who is doing dry January, or somebody who is, maybe weaning themselves off of alcohol for a little while. So I think I would buy this. Now, I don't know if I would buy it all the time,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.
Well, I'm trying not to be too relative about it. I'm going to give it a 6, like a generous 6.
Okay.
I might change my rating. So fully agree. If you and I decided that we wanted to do a dry month, dry January, I'd buy this.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. It tastes nice. It would be kind of a fun thing to have before dinner or whatever. But in like normal times, I think
through December.
Yeah, I think right, exactly. I think I would only buy it if, somebody who was coming over or we're doing something and we wanted to have a really good option for non-alcohol drinkers. Mm-hmm. So, that's the way I think about it. I think it's nice.
Me too.
So I am not like, I'm not saying bad. It's bad. It's enjoyable. It's pleasant. On a warm day, it would be very refreshing. It feels more grown up than a sparkling cider.
Absolutely.
And so I think, a 6 may be too low, so I might come back to it, but I think a 7 for your rating is totally fair. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's take a pause, and we're going to try our next alcohol-free wine. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our next alcohol-free wine. This one is called Giesen 0% New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. It's from New Zealand, from the Marlborough region of New Zealand, which we really like. The producer is Giesen. Also, didn't have a year on it. So I don't know what that means. It didn't have a year. It was $12.49 at Total Wine, 0.5% alcohol. The grapes, again, it's 6% grape juice, 80% dealcoholized New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, and 14% dealcoholized New Zealand white wine of some sort. I don't know. No professional rating. So, Carmela, what are you smelling on this wine?
Okay, this has an undeniable, freshly struck match on it. Yes.
Really?
Smell it.
Okay, it's like kind of sulfury.
Yes, but a freshly struck match, like a wooden match.
When you said, what's interesting to me is when you said freshly, I was thinking it smells more to me like freshly mown grass with a gas lawnmower.
Oh my goodness, that's kind of similar.
Yeah. Don't you think? And you're right, because a gas lawnmower kind of has that smoky, gassy kind of. That's what it smells. It smells like grass and tractor.
Yep, and it came with the first whiff, and it's not. I mean, we have not had it open for very long, but it's not.
It's a white wine.
Yeah, it's not changing much.
No, and it doesn't have it's got some sweetness on it. It smells kind of sweet, but I'm not getting a lot of fruit. I'm definitely not getting the tropical fruit kind of flavors.
Not a lot of fruit. It is a little concerning to me.
It doesn't smell actually all that different from the sparkling.
Oh, I think so.
You do? You think it does?
Just me personally, I just felt like the first one, that sparkling was there was a little more fruit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely different.
I think we should try it because we're not getting much other smell on it. Let's try it. Oh!
It's so tart.
Super tart.
Yeah, no alcohol taste on it at all.
Which makes sense since it has
right. Since
zero alcohol. It is super, the last one tasted like a Sour Patch Kid. This one tastes like a lemon head.
It is like a lemon head, but even almost like just a lemon.
Oh, it's super
super
citrusy.
Right, you're just
super
sucking
tart.
on a lemon.
You're right. It's very. I'm like
not even pith. It's like lemon juice.
It makes you shake.
Yeah. Yeah, you see Joe.
I was like, wow.
My goodness.
Pucker.
Yeah, it is a puckering wine. Pucker right up.
It's different.
You could almost pour this on your fish.
I kind of feel like you'd like this.
It's good.
You love sour stuff. You love sour gummies.
It is. It's actually like a no sugar lemonade.
That's what it is.
It's
you're right.
It almost feels like this is not grape. It's lemon.
It's super lemony.
Yeah.
It does have a little bit of vegetal. I feel like there is a little grass on it or something, or asparagus or something. Something, or green pepper or something in there that's there's some green vegetable in there.
I can taste that a little.
But it's lemon. It's lemonade. You're right. It's like lemonade. It's super
It's so tart. Though. It doesn't taste like a bit of sugar. Wait, there was another thing you mentioned about this to me, that these are not only non-alcoholic, but lower in
calories.
Yeah, I can taste that almost.
They're not 0 calorie though.
Right. But lower in calorie.
It's super I don't know quite what to make of it. What would you eat with it other than I could see, you're right, fish and chips or something, lemon, something you need lemon with, your prawns or your salmon or whatever,
And also something salty, like you could just do potato chips and French fries. Mm-hmm. Do you think so?
Well, it depends on what type of potato chips. You wouldn't want to do salt and vinegar.
No, it is a little vinegar.
Your head might explode from the tartness. It is kind of vinegary. Mm-hmm. It actually almost does have a little vinegary taste to it. But this one,
different. Doesn't feel as festive.
Like the first one, again, like I graded it. I rated it a 6, maybe a 7. But I think it's kind of like fun, sophisticated. It's more fun than having just like a sparkling cider. This one to me is a little more like, I don't think I would serve this.
No, I don't. It's a little bit of a downgrade. Like you feel like it's not doing the trick as much.
If I were a wine drinker, I don't think this would satisfy me. It tastes so much like a lemonade.
Yeah. No, the guy who was talking about the first wine not being satisfying out of the gate. Wasn't that the first one?
No, that was the last
third
one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Those same descriptors need to go on this.
You know, I'm thinking about this too. You know, they say that alcohol.
Oh, you were doing that, and I was like, trying to get what hand signal are you trying to give me?
No, but like I don't know. I'm squeezing its
body.
Body.
Wring your neck.
You know how? Yeah. No, you know, like alcohol will give wine body. I just wonder if what the body of this wine, like what the feel and the experience of the wine would be if it's still like the original wine, like the original wine before they took the alcohol. I'd be really curious.
Right. Does it feel like a stripped down Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand to you?
No, actually it doesn't. And aren't these the ones that said that they were rigorous? Anyway.
And gentle. They gently and rigorously
doesn't. The only thing that reminds me of a Sauvignon Blanc is that sometimes there is citrus, right?
Yes.
There's a citrusy taste to a Sauvignon Blanc. But to me, all this is citrus. It's just lemon.
Right.
So anyway, let's give this one, what rating would you give this wine?
I think that I'm going to give this one like a 5.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
I would not buy this. I am almost like, I don't think I can drink it.
Oh, bummer.
But it's not horrendous. Like, I'm not like, I will never.
This doesn't feel like a wine substitute for me.
No. What? I told you guys we would hear random noises.
Do you hear that?
It sounds like a plane is about to land on our house. Anyway, no, I don't feel like this is a wine substitute. I feel like it's a drink substitute. Like, hey, it tastes like lemonade.
You know what's interesting is this almost replaces like a hard drink to me, like a well drink.
You know what? You're right. It's almost like a lemon drop.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Like, something with vodka.
Yeah. No, seriously, if you were doing like a lemon vodka, like this could maybe substitute for it.
In February?
If you put it...
You just put a little bit of vodka in this?
No. Actually, put this in a martini glass. And tell somebody it's a dry, a non-alcohol martini, and they might be like, "Oh, right, this is really good." Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just doesn't taste like it does. It's not a wine experience for me.
No.
Anyway, okay. Well, let's take a break and let's try our last wine and see what we think. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Okay, we are back and we're ready to try our last wine, and then we're going to talk about something really interesting. So this last wine is the Ariel Cabernet Sauvignon Premium Dealcoholized Wine. The region is from California. We're not sure exactly where. It's owned and operated. The producer is owned and operated by J. Lore Vineyards and Wines. It's 2021. This was only $8.99 at Total Wine. It's 0.5% alcohol. The grapes are Cabernet Sauvignon. We're not sure if there's other grapes in there, but that's what we heard. And so, but let's talk about, Carmen, let's talk about one interesting thing that we just found out about these wines.
Oh my God.
So we were looking at the calorie count. And what is the serving size in the Sauvignon Blanc?
Okay, so first of all, it has a whole nutrition fact label on it.
Yeah, all of these
not find on the regular bottle of wine.
No, all of them have nutrition labels on them.
Right. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, 45 calories per serving.
And you're thinking like, how many glasses of wine in a bottle
I'm
of wine?
thinking maybe 4, I'm like, 4 servings. No, you can drink this whole half of this.
Well, no, what did they say a serving is?
Well, I was just going to say 12 fluid ounces.
Which is a huge pour.
Yeah.
That's not a heavy pour.
It's not even,
That's
it would be overflowing pour, But so it's 12 fluid ounces. Is that a beer?
Yes. Remember we would do the cans of sparkling and then we'd say, this is a half of a bottle. Well, that's what it is.
Totally crazy. So you could get away with this whole bottle, not get an ounce of a buzz, but you would get only 100 calories.
Yeah, in a whole bottle.
So
and the Cabernet is similar. The Cabernet is 50 calories, but it's per like 8 ounces. So
Right.
they have 8-ounce servings.
And okay, so and the sparkling, the first one is 90 calories.
Yeah. So there you go, heavy pour. So
okay,
what did you smell in this dealcoholized Cabernet Sauvignon?
So it's sweet. It's definitely sweet. What I'm getting is like licorice, like maybe even like the special kind of licorice, a little fancier licorice, a little bit of tobacco.
I'm getting some cinnamon, like a gummy bear.
I just wrote cinnamon down.
Like a cinnamon gummy bear. Cinnamon gummy bears?
Those are good. Those are really
cinnamon
good.
Red Hots?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There's a little bit of red fruit, like maybe a cherry, but like a stewed cherry or something, or a stewed plum.
Right.
Something stewed.
I can see that.
But the cinnamon I'm getting really strongly.
Yeah, it is a little spicy. That's the first thing you said, actually.
Peppery. Okay, let's try it and see what we think.
Wow.
It tastes like grape juice.
Yeah. I mean, it has a little hint of like the skin of a grape. So it's giving a little bit of a vibe of like a Cabernet Sauvignon, but
it's super light. Like when they were describing it, they were like, "Oh no, it's super light."
It is. It doesn't have the full body.
No.
It's not like what you're expecting if you're a Cab Sauv drinker.
I will say on the aftertaste, it does have a little of that smoke, a little bit of that leather that you were talking about. I've got that on the back of it. On the front of it, it's just it's
juicy.
It's grapey.
Yeah.
It's grapey.
It's grapey, but it does have, there's little hints of it, but it's so light and thin.
Yeah.
It's thin. What do you think?
I just keep getting like grape juice. It just tastes like grape juice.
Funny thing is there is a touch of like tannins too, like just a touch,
Yeah,
like
there
that gives you. Somebody might actually warm up to this down the road.
Yeah, the only thing that I'd say is like if you wanted a big, bold like Cabernet kind of, this is not it. Like this is not it.
No, but is it going to be? That could be a challenge anyway. Like your taste buds will need to adjust.
They will adjust.
Yeah, they're not going to be. They're substitutes.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say in this one too, there's some tartness. Yeah. There is some tartness as well.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's just part of that process, the dealcoholizing process that creates some tartness. But, it's pleasant tasting.
Yeah.
It's not bad tasting.
No, not at all.
What would you eat with it?
It's hard for me to like imagine doing like a big burger or I don't know if it can be
a burger.
You think so? I mean, I'm not
it's like a bacon cheeseburger.
I was going to say even like maybe like a nacho dish would be good.
Or a burrito.
Oh,
a burrito,
yeah. Ooh, or like enchiladas.
Yeah, enchiladas would be good.
Something like that. I think would pair well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'm with you on that.
And it's also very pretty.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
If you want the experience, again, from my perspective, if you want the experience of having a wine, like you just want to be part of a crowd that's enjoying wine and you want to be part of it, like the bottle looks great. It looks like wine.
It's got a cork, which might be interesting if you're trying for that real experience.
Yeah, I think it's a decent substitute. It's not going to give look. The other thing that I'll give the Ariel Winery some dap for is like they just were honest. They're like, hey, you're just not going to like it.
I mean, maybe to a fault.
I'm not going to like it.
Maybe to a fault.
It's just going to be different than you're used to. So it's totally fair.
Yeah.
So what rating would you give this wine?
I'm trying to think about like in this scenario, I would be buying it most often for other people. And I don't know what like a typical, like a person who drinks this kind of wine would really say, but I would give it a go. If somebody's like, I'm having a dry January, I'm going to give it a 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, because again, I feel like this is the deal. I don't know yet how other non-alcoholic wines compare. So we'll have to kind of see. But I think as a first try, and these are some reputable places, I think it'd be I would buy it for somebody.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 7.
Fair enough. I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
I just don't, it's not doing it for me. It tastes like grape juice. So of these, which are you finishing tonight? Because I think this says it all for me.
Well, I'm going to go with the first one.
Yeah, the Freixenet. I'm with the Freixenet. To me, it's the most wine-like drink. The sparkling was fun. The flavor was pretty good. I think it was doing its job.
Yeah.
Festive, felt good. So what's your verdict on alcohol-free wine?
You know what? I feel like if you're making the choice to go that direction, I think it's a fun way to feel a part of any situation. Like especially if you're used to having a drink with people, this is a great way to kind of stay in the game without having the same effects.
Agree. Okay, I'm you know what? I'm a total fan. I don't love the wines, but I would drink them. I'm totally supportive of people who want to do a dry January. I should probably do a dry January. But I'm also like, for people who have loved ones or family that just don't drink anyway, I think it's high time. That's a weird way to put it. It's like, it's about time, like, to really bring this in, have it part of the selection process. I think it's fun. I think it's also thoughtful to have these kinds of alcohol-free wines available for people.
I like it.
So there you go.
I think it's great.
Let's talk a little bit about taste profiles.
Okay.
So the Dealcoholized Sparkling, the winery says, on the nose, there are refreshing tropical notes and elegant citrus hints. The palate is clean, fruity, and especially refreshing.
Okay.
The Dealcoholized Sauvignon Blanc, the winery says, offers delicate aromas of fresh lime, red currant, and lemon shortbread. Lemon shortbread for sure. We're getting tons of lemon.
Wow.
The delicious citrus flavors followed by distinct black currant and passion fruit notes.
Interesting. I didn't get that at all.
We did get a touch of, didn't we get a touch of tropical fruit, but not red currant.
Yeah, not the red currant.
No, not at all. And then the Dealcoholized Cabernet Sauvignon, the winery says, Ariel is described as oak-aged. I didn't taste a lot of oak, maybe a tiny bit, with aromas of black currants, cherry, blueberries, and chocolate. Blueberry, okay. I can see blueberry. And chocolate with soft tannins and a dry finish. So, there you go. Look, here's the deal. Dry January is a thing. People do it. This is a great way to celebrate with people, learn about it. I'm a fan.
I'm
a
too.
fan.
I'm in.
And even though we didn't rate any of these wines overly high, I'm still I'm interested. I want to learn more. I want to try different wines. I think we do at some point do a sparkling alcohol-free and just try a bunch and see what we think.
I think so. I'm totally down.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so we want to thank you all, as always, so much for listening to us. We are the Wine Pair Podcast, and while you're thinking about it, again, we would love it if you would subscribe to us and give us a rating. You can reach out to us on our website at thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com and follow us on Instagram and Counter Social. If you have ideas for episodes or alcohol-free wines that you like or other things that you want us to do or talk about, just let us know. DM us, reach out to us, whatever. And we want to thank you for listening to the Wine Pair Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Wow.
And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
Bye.